Welcome to ChuggieBets. I'm Al. That's Danny. That's Matt. We got sunshine below us here. We're going to hit you with a bunch of plays for NFL. But first, we're chugging a beer. Cheers.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
Feel lighter. Lost the organ, feeling lighter than ever.
You are lighter.
So we didn't tell everybody exactly what happened, Matt. We just said you weren't feeling well.
I was not feeling well. I'm Sands in Oregon, but we're here today. We're drinking beers.
Yeah, Matt blacked out and woke up in an ice tub bath.
We're not going to tell him what organ you're missing. We're not going to tell him what organ you're missing.
It's my penis. That's it.
Only took one stitch.
Very small. Very small.
So we're gonna recap some NFL games and hit you with our picks for the conference championship games, and then we're gonna delve into a little bit of soccer, some Premier League, perhaps some FA Cup, maybe hit you with a little Australian Open. But first, let's get to the last week's games. Let's see. Matt, are you gonna give us a compliment sandwich for our dearly departed Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, so let's remember Dallas, right? They have excellent Tex-Mex, known for their Tex-Mex there. They also probably have pretty good barbecue in Texas, so kudos to them. They haven't made a game that meant a damn for over 30 years. And boy, they like to talk a lot of shit like they matter, but they haven't mattered since in 30 years or so. And the stadium's really nice. So, to the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Dak's a fraud.
Dak's a fraud. Do you?
Oh, come on. Dak's not a fraud. Hey, before we go through this, Dak is not a fraud. He's been hurt, man. So he came into this league.
What was hurt yesterday? His pride?
Dude, he came into this league as a rookie in his second year, and he performed great. Well, great might be an overstatement, but he was really, really good. He was top 5 in the league in quarterback rating and QBR both years. And then the next 2 years, 2019, he was easily the third best quarterback in the league. He was awesome. He threw for like 40, almost 5,000 yards, over 30 touchdowns, and under 10 interceptions. He was awesome. And then in 2020, he was on his way to being a great quarterback again. His first 5 games, he was amazing. He was averaging over 300 yards a game. And you came in, he snapped his ankle in half, and then he missed the rest of the season. The next year, he was an amazing passer. 2021, when he came back, he was an amazing passer. He just couldn't run the ball at all, and his QBR went down because he was a negative rusher. He fumbled the ball like 9 times that year. He was averaging only 3 yards a carry when he usually averages 6. Like, come on, Dak he's not bad. This year, he hurt his arm, and he could not throw the ball accurately. And the same thing happened to Russ, and you saw what happened to him. Like, he's going to recover, and Dak is not washed. I would take him right now on our team if our quarterback's brain gets scrambled again.
Danny, nowhere in that incoherent rambling did you ever come close to anything that resembled a good point.
I disagree with that.
I forget the line. You get it. Billy Madison.
God have mercy.
Happy Gilmore? Whatever. Billy Madison.
Yeah, Billy Madison, but I still disagree because I feel like I made a really great
point. That's very bad. Listen, if superlatives equaled Super Bowls, Dak Prescott, he'd be most handsome, most charming. I think ever since he got his shit dropped at that like Texas beach spring break, he's not been the same ever since then.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with snapping his ankle in half. He fixed the running issues. He's back up to over 4 yards a carry. He's still sliding early.
Maker, Daniel.
Dude, that's
the whole position. It's like
every year that he wasn't injured.
And not knowing which way to turn.
Every year that he's not injured, he's top 5 in QBR. Every year that he's not injured, he's top 5 in QBR.
I call baloney. I would like you to take a moment.
You could say like Robert Griffin was really good before he got injured, or Carson Wentz was really good before he got injured. Is this like the new Dak Prescott? Is this going to be something?
Prescott's career, he's never had less than a 95 quarterback rating, passer rating.
You said he was a top 3 quarterback one year.
Yes,
2019.
2019. Look it up.
No.
I
don't know what you want to show me, and nothing is going to make me believe that. He could have won the Super Bowl with 60 touchdown passes, and I would not believe you because it doesn't matter what stats say. He's not good. He's bad. He's very
I
bad.
will say
He's
to
not good.
Danny's point, the last 2 years, his QBR has been 55 and 58, which makes him slightly above average. He's a slightly above
He was
average.
bad. He was mid. He was very mid the last 2 years while he was
Danny
hurt.
just sent a Bing link in the group chat. Love it.
I know.
Yeah. Click it, and you'll see that in 2019 he was the third best quarterback in the league.
Oh
which, by the
shit!
way,
He was really good at fantasy. It looks like. You know who else was good at fantasy in 2019? Taysom fucking Hill.
Don't besmirch Taysom. He's still
anyway.
good fantasy.
Yeah, my apologies.
I tried
Danny.
to search for the QBR, but not the fantasy ratings. But seriously, he was third in QBR. He's always
Danny.
top 5 in QBR. Look it up.
I'm gonna have you
you.
channel this energy into giving me a compliment sandwich on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, the apparently 4th best quarterback behind Dak Prescott.
How many levels of meat could I have in the middle of the sandwich?
Go for it. Make it's New York, so you can get by with one of those thick pastrami bitches.
All right. So I would like to start with Buffalo. You have the best fans in football, I think. I think you're the best fans. I mean, you tailgate the best. You guys break tables, which you guys throw a tailgate that I want to go to. I'm not real good with cold weather, and I don't really have a whole lot of jackets because I live in Florida.
The fundraising they do is also phenomenal.
Yeah, great people in Western.
Great people in Buffalo. Yeah, that's thick bread on the bottom of the sandwich. It's not going to be open face because I have a good compliment to close it. But
oh yeah,
your quarterback has a stupid fucking face. He just does. He has a stupid fucking face. He also cannot play in cold weather or big games or against the Dolphins.
Not a cold weather quarterback.
He's just not a. I mean, he's very, very good at like running the ball, but until he has to like throw a touchdown at the end of the game, and then he just fucking chokes and short arms it. Like he's Chuck Knobloch in the middle of the bad games. Also, like fucking build a dome on that stadium. I know you guys like tailgating in the cold, but that doesn't mean you players have to play in the cold. Like Josh Allen would be great if you just like built something on top of that. What are you guys fucking thinking?
I think the fans would legitimately be pissed.
I don't think they would. I think they would like being outside and like tailgating with their shirts off in the snow, and then come inside to the warm weather, and then go tailgate after the game with their shirts off in the snow. I honestly don't think they would be mad if that their players were no longer affected by this terrible weather.
Do you think they would mind a high-powered offense having more high power because it's like a climate-controlled environment instead of a shit environment? Nothing against Buffalo, but like that's not great weather. I understand people like it's football weather. I'm like, that's dumb. That's a dumb statement.
Jim Kelly was a Miami guy, and he was able to play through that weather and get to like 5 Super Bowls. He ended up losing them all, which none were played in bad weather. But that's probably why they liked the weather back then. Anyway, to finish this compliment sandwich, thank you so much for cutting off a wing of a chicken, throwing it in some butter, adding some cayenne pepper.
Oh.
God damn, you guys are the best. I love you, Buffalo. It's my favorite food. You are the best. You are the best. I love everybody in Buffalo. And I'm sorry for saying your quarterback has a stupid face. It's not a nice thing to say, but it's a dumb face.
I will never not love saying Josh Allen is not a cold weather quarterback because one, it's such a dumb thing to say, but two, they have no defense for it. Like it 100% is accurate, even if it doesn't mean anything. And I think what they should do instead of putting a roof on that stadium is just trade for a real cold weather quarterback like Jared Goff.
You know where they have a nice facility? They should just move them to Toronto. Nice domed environment. It would be perfect for them. You know, like get them out of Western New York. Let's expand the game, make it more international. I hope no one's listening.
Or just play when the weather's bad. Instead of moving them to Detroit, they could just play in the dome in Toronto. It's closer for the fans.
There should 1,000% be Canadian football teams in the NFL.
There are Canadian football teams out. The Argonauts have a stadium
in the NFL. Did you miss the part where I said in the NFL?
Yeah.
Or I heard they sold really well in Atlanta. Maybe they should play their winter home games at the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah,
they did really well there.
Now Mercedes-Benz, there's a stadium.
We got to issue some refunds. Got it.
This idea of heroically dying on like, well, we're a cold weather. It's like that's dumb. Like it can be cold. Like you can make also a nice stadium where your team is going to be better. Like
you know who stopped heroically dying on we're a warm weather team? We put a fucking roof and air conditioning over all the fans, and then it's also sort of over our home team, and only the away team has to deal. Only the away team has to deal.
That's heady.
With the heat.
That's good business right there.
Yeah.
So we
Sorry,
got a couple.
by the way, sorry, Buffalo.
Yeah.
You guys can't play in warm weather or cold weather.
Yeah, we got a couple more teams to hit. I'm gonna do our little in memoriam compliment sandwich for the New York Football Giants. And shout out to my buddy Matt. He had some feedback he wanted me to hit for the compliment sandwich for the Giants today. He said there's you can't walk around any level of the stadium completely, so you need to constantly go up and down levels at the stadium at MetLife to be able to go around. So I'm assuming that is a negative because that sounds shitty.
That's a piece of meat. This is a meat sandwich.
We're starting with the meat on the bottom, just like New York style sandwich, meat on the bottom.
It's an open face sandwich, but it's upside down.
Yeah. You can see the city from the stadium, but you need to take a train to Secaucus to get to and from that swampy hell. Listen, I have been to a stadium or been to a game at Giants or a Giants game at MetLife Stadium. It fucking sucked. It was like the actual stadium's fine, but getting to and from the stadium, it's like if I came down to Miami for a game, like from New York City to fucking Secaucus is like you got to get on a train, you got to like transfer, get on another train, you got to walk a bunch, you got to like, and it's in like the middle of like a little town. It's like I don't know, it's not great.
You know what stadium's a joy to get in and out of? Sorry to interrupt. A joy to get in and out of is Dolphin Stadium. It's fucking great. Everybody's already gone by halftime, and I'm already gone by the second quarter. So like, it's so easy to get in and out. There's never any traffic.
But shout out to Matt's dad. He got me the ticket for that game, put me up when we went up for that game. It was great. New York City. This is going to be my compliment. Nothing like the views from New York City, looking out and seeing all those buildings. It's one of those things that always pisses me off. People are always like, New York, you gotta love the view. You look out your window, you see another building. It's beautiful. I was like, I don't want to see buildings when I look at a pretty sunset. The buildings are in the way. Those are the things that shouldn't be there. The Big Apple, though. Life in the Big Apple. Pizza Rat. Go Giants.
Go Giants, indeed. Man, Philadelphia really put it on them, huh? Like, what's that coach name? Nick Sirianni for the Eagles. That is like an all-time football guy, but his IQ can't be over like 46.
Both of those coaches are football guys, though. Dabo's a football guy.
Oh, Dabo,
love me some Dabo.
I'm not hating on him.
Nick Sirianni's like Ted Lasso, but like Philly
minus
style.
The charm. Yeah, Philly Lasso,
but Italian.
Yeah, but a cheese whiz on it.
I don't think there's any more cheese on Ted Lasso. You can't fit any more cheese on Ted Lasso.
Sunshine, why don't you bring us home? Give me the compliment sandwich for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, here's to Jacksonville. You guys have some fantastic beaches. I love it there. Also, you guys got some offensive weapons this year that were obviously much needed, and you guys have some more coming this year with Calvin Ridley. Good for you. Hopefully that pays out. How about you get some people to block for your quarterback? Let's start there. Help him out a little bit, and due to the largest cocktail party in the world, which is when UGA plays UF, you guys are considered SEC country. Can I get an amen?
Amen, brother.
Go,
Paul.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother. Yeah, that's great. You mentioned the beaches, and I gotta say, absolute bullshit how rough the fucking ocean is.
Are you saying this in general, like a general?
Just in general, the ocean. I'm out.
Yeah, you're just not
too rough.
Golf. I'm a fan.
Ocean, way too rough route. This sounds like a guy who grew up in on the West Coast in Bradenton, Venice.
Yeah. Also, so go ahead, Matt.
My favorite part of this game, right, outside of the fact that Chad Henne still exists, which can we drink to Chad Henne?
Chad Henne.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pour some out.
Hard drive to keep the game alive. Huge drive for this.
What an assassin! And that's Chad Henne, who was a Jacksonville Jaguar for I think 5 years up until like 2 years ago.
He was also a Dolphin for a long friggin' time.
Long time, yeah. I have to interrupt this very important podcast to talk about this Sabalenka pure domination. The last point, she served and Vekic returned it, and then she like did a backhand down the baseline or whatever, and Vekic just turns and goes. It was fucking hilarious. She just turns and goes. She didn't even go after it. She didn't try to hit. She just turns and goes.
Not gonna hit it.
This is going to be real inside tennis. Do you remember like a year ago, Sabalenka couldn't find her serve, so sometimes it would just escape and she would serve underhand. But she was so good, like she would get to the third or fourth round. It seems like she's fixed the problem. She's found her serve. And she's
seems like I mean, to be fair, it sounds like a pretty serious problem for a professional tennis player to have.
Not being able to serve, she would literally underhand the serve in there and then just deal with the results. But if you didn't get a good shot at her, she could still hit a forehand 100 miles an hour at you. So you were eating the tennis ball.
She was missing second serves though. It was bad.
Yeah.
So going back to the Chiefs Jaguars game, there was a lot of internet hubbub about a Chiefs fan smuggled in a baked potato in her pocket and ate it, and the Jackson fan judged her for it.
Rightfully so, I think. I think it's at least fair game.
Yeah. But then she got the last laugh because she took a picture of the woman who was taking a picture of her, kind of like, and she was like, "Yeah, I enjoy this baked potato with inside a win," right? Which is fair. But is baked potato the best pocket food you can sneak into a game?
No.
What would you like to bring into
it? Whiskey is the best pocket food you can sneak.
Great pocket.
It's not a food. I'm sorry. It's a cop out.
Okay. Sorry.
I would like to bring a plastic container of like Totino's pizza rolls because those bitches are always hot, and if you're cold outside, it's going to be nice and warm. Now, granted, you have to put it in some sort of container. If not, they may explode lava in your pocket.
Yeah, that shit's getting confiscated by TSA.
Dangerous
thing. Whatever the hell.
But I can't think of anything else. Like a baked potato is a pretty solid pocket food to bring into a sporting event. Sorry, son.
So pros and cons. Let's hit pros and cons. Sunshine, you got pros and cons for a baked potato? Give me one pro, one con.
All right. One pro is it's not going to, let's say, bust or make a mess in your pocket.
Great.
It's a solid food.
Pro.
Con, it's a baked potato.
Con is a baked potato. Fair enough.
It's a pretty strong con as well. Pro, it's a baked potato. Con, it's a baked potato.
So pro, it's really absorbent. Like, so if you're drinking a lot, it's a good.
It's great base. It's a great base, and it's great for absorbing in the middle of drinking too, because it doesn't really like mix up too much in there. And so look, the thing about the baked potato that you bring in is you want to have some fixins. So like, how do you usually eat your baked potato? You like a lot of cheese, you like a lot of bacon, sour cream, but you can't put that in your pocket.
No.
As a guy who's been trying to eat a little bit healthier recently, my suggestion for the pocket baked potato is just lemon. I'm telling you, a little bit of butter, maybe, but I'm saying if you want. But Al had a suggestion with the butter packets, which will help. But what I think is all you need is salt and lemon. Salt and lemon for your pocket baked potato, because you're going to get enough of everything else with your beers you're drinking inside. Salt and lemon is all you need with your pocket baked potato to absorb all that belly liquor that you're drinking inside the game.
Yeah. I think what I was going to say is, like you bring in the little like individual butter packets that you're able to put in and like go. So you're bringing in a handful of butter packets and you're putting a packet of butter in, taking a couple bites and replenishing. You could also, if you're a real entrepreneur, really outside the box here, you take that baked potato and unwrapped, of course, and you kind of drill out a little hole down to the center. You can fill that with salt or herbs and spices, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And then you wrap it up, and then all you got to do is put that warm pocket butter in, drizzle her in there, and you almost get it like to meld up in there as you're eating. I think it could be a decent snack.
Are you basically creating a pocket potato skin that you could just like pull out and
kind of? Yeah.
So is there anything at the hot dog stand that you could use? Like if you walk the concessions areas, there may be some
onions.
Onions on a potato is not bad. They don't have like cheese though. Like I was hoping that they had like a nacho cheese dispenser. That would be
no. You could buy nacho cheese inside, but you don't really want that. But the onions could replace the chives in your pocket baked potato for sure.
Here's another pro.
You don't really want the mustard or ketchup though.
Another pro for the baked potato is you pull that thing right off the grill as you're walking into the stadium. You got yourself a top-notch hand warmer in your
that's awesome
hoodie. You don't even need the packets. You just hold on to that baked potato, and it warms your hands up, keeps you warm in that cold-ass Arrowhead Stadium where all the people are being stupid. I love it. That's a good idea.
One con is that if you have it wrapped in foil, people might think that you're bringing weed into the stadium, and I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Are you allowed to bring a potato into the stadium?
Apparently.
So my question is this: do you think this was like a cost-cutting exercise, or do you think this person just loves baked potatoes, or wanted some of the warmth and the potato?
Dude, I think it was if it was just I really needed potatoes, you could get French fries in any stadium. So I think it was I don't want to wait in line for food exercise, because if you've been to an NFL football game, there's not enough time to go get food or beer or pee in any of these stadiums. Like there's just not. You're gonna miss a ton of action if you go to try and do any of those things.
If we had more listeners, I would love to use that clout to get this woman onto our podcast and pick her brain on some of this stuff, because I wonder if she was like, oh, I can use it as a hand warmer, then also I can eat it as a snack, and she just really likes baked potatoes. Or maybe she was like, inside that stadium they serve like pulled pork chili fries, and I'm gonna
only fries or crinkle fries
on my baked potato or some kind of crazy shit like that.
Oh wow!
So,
I didn't even think about that. Maybe she had a pulled pork sandwich, right? And you have like the pork drippings that don't make in the sandwich, and put it inside of the baked potato.
Ooh.
Like that is an amazing meal. And
or maybe their fries are trash inside, and she just wanted like a good potato to go with whatever else food. Like maybe they have good buffalo wings inside, but their fries are suck. They only have crinkle fries inside, and we all know crinkle fries are the worst version of a French fry. Not to start a new conversation.
I got respect for the crinkle fry. I wouldn't say it's the worst.
I like the
not
crinkle
my
fry,
favorite.
but it's not my favorite.
To be clear, this woman was eating just a straight up plain baked potato. There was
potato in aluminum foil, right? Like had its little like dress on, like sleeping bag.
Lost.
And then great potato. I don't know. I'm so curious. I want to know so much more about this potato incident. And like I said, I'm not shaming at all. Like you do you when it comes to a potato.
Buddy, I don't think any of us are food shamers on anything.
I don't know. Some of us shame others for going to Cheesecake Factory or what have you.
Good point. Good point.
Why would you shame anybody for going to Cheesecake Factory?
My sister-in-law sent me a picture, and she texted us today and was like, my boyfriend's taking me to Cheesecake Factory just randomly tonight. And I was like, damn, Cheesecake Factory sounds good as hell. And I was talking to Danny about it, and I was like, I hate that everyone like hates on Cheesecake Factory. And he goes, well, nobody hates on Cheesecake Factory. And I'm like, I think people hate on Cheesecake Factory. I think just chain restaurants in general, people are like, I don't want it. It's not real. It's not like good food. It's all like reheated garbage. But I like Cheesecake Factory.
I agree with you that people hate on like chain restaurants, but I think that level of chain restaurant people is hitting on is like they're basically hating on like Applebee's, and I think that Cheesecake Factory people like will make jokes about, oh, the menu's too big, I never know what to get, but like everybody knows that like the orange chicken at Cheesecake Factory is like a really fucking nice meal. The thing that I don't like about Cheesecake Factory, or I didn't like until I actually discovered this other thing, was that they like have all these different kinds of cheesecake, but they don't have any regular cheesecake until somebody told me that regular cheesecake is called New York style cheesecake.
Yeah, it's a thin crust.
Yeah, I used to think that it was going to be like a really tiny, thin piece of cheese.
Fold it in half.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just a fucking moron. And then I realized that you could get the New York style. It's just a regular cheesecake. Like I don't need a fucking candy bar inside of my cheesecake. Regular cheesecake is fucking perfect dessert for me. Little raspberry drizzle on top, and
Yeah, you got to use a paper towel to soak up the extra raspberry drizzle, and then you fold it in half, and in you go, New York style cheesecake.
So I'm
Anyway.
kind of,
Just like Mama Nona used to make.
I can't believe it that there's people out there that don't like going to Cheesecake Factory though.
I haven't been to Cheesecake Factory in 20 years, right? And I don't, not for any particular reason, just because I don't know. There's one not far, but I've never thought about it. And I'm not a big fan of a lot of chain restaurants.
Not even takeout.
Not well. It's so far for takeout from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not driving that far.
Uber Eats.
What's up?
Not even Uber Eats.
Uber Eats.
I've never
Uber
had
Eats
the
is hot garbage.
Here's my point.
I am a Uber One member, and I get Uber Eats all the time. But it's because we're ordering like twice a week for food now. It's hard with kids. Anyway, go on.
I've never really wanted Cheesecake Factory that much, but I'm a hypocrite because something like Chili's, which can be quite garbage, I like very much. Right. Yeah. So like I don't know. Cheesecake Factory never really
maybe I'm just not a chain hater, but like we order Outback and I really enjoy an Outback steak.
Outback's great.
I know it's not like Capitol Grill level or like really good steakhouse level steak, but like an Outback steak, man, and you get the sides and I get like a baked potato. Bring it full circle. And I get the what's the name of their salad? It's like an Outback something salad. Anyway, they have a good salad they'll bring. It's fucking good.
What's the one chain restaurant you avoid at all costs? Is it Applebee's? Is that the one you're just like?
I don't avoid anything, man.
I don't know, man. If they got beer on tap and food.
If they got beer in a bottle, dude, I go to Buffalo Wild. Buffalo Wild Wings is the restaurant I go to the most.
Oh,
yeah, the terrible wings, but good sauce and great beer.
No, but
great sauce. The boneless wings are pretty good. That's pretty good, like mini chicken tenders. Pretty good mini chicken tenders is what I like to consider them as. I like to get the sauce on the side, so you dip them.
Chicken nuggets.
Sauce on the side, so you can dip them.
Adult chicken nuggies. Adult chicken nuggies.
Grown up chicken nuggies.
But my
just
kid,
not dinosaur shaped.
My daughters love the wings with the bones in them. They love them.
Oh wow, they've got more refined palates than their dad, huh?
I mean, I like bone-in wings, but I just don't like them from there because I know what like Bruiser Room can do or Wings Plus.
Yeah, there's better wings, and they're all fat. They're all fat. There's like very little meat on them. I actually, this is a controversial thing. I like a small wing, right? I don't need these like people are like, hey, we got jumbo wings. I'm like, you can keep that shit to yourself. I'm not eating
all flats
and sauce. What's up?
Everywhere I go, I order all flats. I don't like those.
Flats is what but their flats there are still fatty and like cartilaginous. Is that a word? It's always like more cartilage than meat. And it's like I'm like it's overly chewy. I'm not standing for that shit. I will eat their wings and drink their beers for sure. Their Miller Lights are always good.
The last time I ordered from Uber Eats, the guy came and dropped off my food. I ordered like 20 wings because I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go ham on these wings. It's like halftime of football. And he shows up and he brings me the wings and like I think I got like fries and some stuff too. And I'm like, this is not all the things. And like I know because they like have taken the shit from me and like just peeled out before. And I run out there and I'm like, hey, where's the celery and ranch I asked for? And he's like, oh, and he opens his back seat. Like, cause I'm sure that the food was in the front, like within reach for him, but he goes in the back seat and grabs a bag of celery and ranch. Like, there you go. I'm like, you were just gonna steal my celery and ranch.
Just dank your celeries.
And he for sure was, and that shit happens all the time. There's always food missing.
At the beginning of Uber Eats, they weren't like putting stickers over the shit to see if it was sealed. And I definitely had an order of 12 wings that came with 9. And restaurants don't make a 3-wing mistake.
Yeah, correct. No, if anything, it's like a 1-wing overcorrection in the wrong way. Yeah, you never.
Yeah, I called them to ask, like, is this like a normal thing that would happen? And they're like, no, it's not. I was like, this feels like the driver ate some of my wings, right? And they were like, I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but I'm telling you that I made that order and there were 12 wings in that order.
So. Yeah. Then you got to think about other people's fingers and your wings, and you still ate the wings.
And then you said, not only am I going to continue using this server, I'm going to be a top 1%er for this fucking company. I love it. Good.
Well, they did start doing like they seal the orders always now. They have a bunch of like
That's what threw you back in, huh?
Safeguard. No, I stopped using Uber Eats for a long time, and then honestly, I mean, I don't. This is personal. It's not really podcast material. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, they also like you place your order and it's like 2 hours later, and they're like cancel, and you're like, well, I guess I'm just never
that shit happened to me. That shit happened to me on Valentine's Day, and that's when I stopped using it for like 2 years.
I don't use Uber Eats so that I can drink when I go pick up the food.
You win. You're right. You do this correct. That's exactly the point I was going to say. Like
you use enough forethought.
You go to a Mexican restaurant for pickup food. That is a 1 to 2 beer stop while you're picking up food.
We talked about this the other day. What you guys missed out on? It's 2 beers and chips and salsa.
Chips and salsa. Give them to me.
You sit at the bar. They bring you the chips and salsa at what's the one right by your house, Matto? It's my favorite. Baja. They bring me the chips and salsa at the bar. I get 2. I don't get Miller Lights there. I think Dos Equis is what I usually do.
Nice.
I think I usually do Dos Equis, and I order at the bar, and they get it super fast too. Yep. Like if you sit there, it's as fast as if you call ahead.
There's an Italian place that's literally like I could walk there, but I drove to pick up an order once, and I got there and like, oh, it's gonna be like another 30 minutes. Is that okay? And I'm like, sure. And they're like, I'll give you a beer on the house while you wait. And I was like, okay. And I drank it. She's like, you want another one? I was like, okay. I was like, that's the greatest late food ever. It's a good move. Good move, restaurants. Do more.
It's a strong dad, father, husband move, right? Because you're like, we'll get the food.
I also, it's also not I don't like cold food. So I would rather them bring me the hot food right when it's there, and then me rush home super fast so we get to eat hot food.
Yeah.
I don't want like them to make the order and then wait for the delivery guy to get there and then them deal with the transaction. Like if I'm there with the bartender, I can have everything paid for before it comes. They can be like, it's almost ready. I'm like, all right, let's cash out. I want one more beer and then cash out. And then I can chug my beer when that one's, I can sip my beer until the food comes out, chug right when it comes out, and then go home.
Yep. I agree. Sunshine's the real hero. He brought up the most important part of this conversation because
it absolutely is.
The flaw in my plan is always I start drinking too heavily before I figure out what I'm going to eat. And then I'm like, I'll get it delivered. And then I'm like, fuck, this is not as easy as it always is in my head. Oh, all right. We're 32 minutes into this bad boy. What do we say we talk about some football, huh?
Yeah.
I guess we should give out some picks since that's what we're supposed to do. So what did Andy do? We should probably just follow him, right?
Well, do you guys want to talk at all about the way these games shook out last week, or do you just want
to we got to do that.
Okay. We haven't done that yet? Oh.
Nope. We haven't talked about, I guess the best one to start with, I don't know chronological order-wise, but the best one I want to start with is the Cowboys game. And our good friend here, Brett Maher, whatever you want to say, in his return, his revenge from his 0 for 4 or 1 for 5 extra point debacle the previous week.
So there was one good game this week. We should save that one for last. You're starting with the worst game. But very interesting thing happened at the end of it where the Cowboys were getting the ball back with a chance to drive down to score. And the question is, did Maher want them to score? Because if they did, he would have had a chance to kick an extra point to tie.
I think
that would have been spicy.
I think if they would have scored on that drive, which we need to talk about the last play of that game, was hilarious. I think they go for 2.
Are you talking about the play where Ezekiel Elliott was the center?
Yeah, and that dude got blown the fuck up. I honestly think McCarthy hates Ezekiel Elliott in order for him to be set up that way. They just bull rushed him with one guy who just mushed him into the ground. He Mac Jones'd him.
It was definitely supposed to be some sort of hook and ladder play, but like Ezekiel Elliott's got to be uncovered and get off the line. And they were like, oh, this is going to be a hook and ladder. Let's put this guy on him and just like fucking run him into the ground.
That shit is just dumb as hell. Anytime you go out there with no linemen, you're literally, it's like you're taking a knee. I've seen that happen a handful of times, and every single time someone just runs full speed at the quarterback and lights their shit up.
So I don't know why everybody doesn't just do what Ryan Tannehill did against the Patriots if they need to run that hook and ladder play. It's the only way to do it.
Throw it.
what he did.
Rob Gronkowski as the deep safety.
Yeah, you just got to have Rob Gronkowski playing all the way deep right, expecting
when he was
expecting a
doing the
Hail
hokey
Mary.
pokey.
Yeah, the Miracle of Miami.
You throw it to some receiver who then pitches it to Kenyon Drake, I think. And then he runs it all the way around the corner, and Rob Gronkowski can't tackle. It turns out.
Yeah, he broke 3 ankles that game, that play.
I don't think Brett Maher wanted them to tie that game, but I also don't think Mike McCarthy was going to leave it in his hands to lose that game.
So go ahead. Sorry.
That extra point that got blocked, that was not going to go in, right? Like we can.
Al and I were drawing pictures back and forth to each other during this. There was no way that was going in. I know Al disagrees with me, but there was no way that was going in.
Well, I'm not saying it definitely was. I'm just saying that the ball tends to move a fair amount once it's up in the air.
Yes, Al believes that Brett Maher had bended that like
I would say it was like a 50-50.
It was not a 50-50. The guy that blocked it was outside the hash, and he was inside the hash. He would have had to have curved it all the way like this to go back in. That's not the way kicks curve. When you kick them that low, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted any part of that. I didn't think the game was interesting. Everyone was talking about how it was like a really great game, and maybe I missed something. But I didn't think it was that great of a game. But
it was pretty late. It was pretty late on Sunday.
49ers fans you were talking to.
Yeah, maybe.
Was it the pain meds?
Probably.
I was taking my usual pain meds, and
it's not that.
But
great.
no, to go back to like what the Cowboys do, what I do there if the Cowboys score a touchdown is I think the smart move in that situation, because the Cowboys were not looking good and the Niners kept like scoring with impunity basically in the whole second half. So
impunity.
I would take
19 points. 19 points
in the second half.
Yeah, but so if they had 19 points in the second half, Al, that wouldn't be scoring with impunity. If they scored all 19 in the second half.
They scored 10 in the second half and 9 in the first half. And so let's just take it easy.
On that whole, that's 10% more points, 11%. But
both teams were holding. There weren't a lot of drives. So
I mean, it would have been a miracle if the Cowboys scored, period, because they were not doing shit with the ball. But if they were to have gotten down there and scored a touchdown with a chance to tie, the smart move would have been to go for 2 and just say win or lose, one play, let's get it in from the 2-yard line. But I do think Maher was not the issue. I think he hit, an extra point or a field goal or both. And despite
two deep field goals. He had 2 deep field goals.
Yeah. And so, I think it was a fluke game that happened week 4.
Sorry, one close and one deep. One close and one deep.
Any issue counting on him if they wanted to go for the extra point?
I thought the Cowboys were going to score more than that because CeeDee Lamb was – so watching that game, CeeDee Lamb was making the 49ers secondary look dumb, and that's hard to do. Like, he was open all the time. Dak he saw him. I mean, he had like 120 or 130 yards.
He's great.
But that could have been 220 if Dak had hit him on some balls. He had thrown some balls better. If CD had held on to one of those that was like, it was like a 30-yard pass down the middle that he had to like, he shouldn't have had to, but he had to like dive down for, and it slipped out of his fingertips. But if Dak had just thrown it over his shoulder, that would have been a 50-yard touchdown catch. But instead, he threw a terrible ball that he had to like dive down and try and fingertip catch it. But yeah, Dak. So you heard my Dak rant before the game. It was because I was
look at that.
It was because I was like looking up, like, is Dak always been this bad? I feel like he was really good, and I was like looking up how good he was in the past because I remember Dak like being really good. And then I was trying to figure out why he was bad, and it turns out it's because he had injuries last year and the beginning of this year. And that's my belief. I think Dak's going to come back and be great again. He's only 29, right? 29. So
I think when he got the really big injury, there was even question if he was going to be able to return.
It was
yeah. That's why his running stats were so bad the next year. He was sliding so early. I mean, that's a really good point, Chris. Go on.
Oh, it can really end there. That wraps it up pretty well. Like a warm potato that you would put in your pocket.
You're the warm potato in my pocket, bud. I did learn something that if you're not going forward while going out of bounds, the clock doesn't stop. That was a friggin' surprising play. And look, can we give it up? Who the hell was the broadcaster? The guy who used to play tight end at
Chris Collins?
Miami. Olsen.
Oh, Greg Olsen.
Great. He was on the spot all night. He did an awesome job calling that game. He was the best part of that game. But
Dad of the year, that guy.
7th floor crew.
I don't know if you're allowed to make that joke.
Third leg. G-Reg.
Third leg Greg. But I didn't know that was a rule at all. I learned something. Greg Olsen was learning me a lot that day, and I appreciate
Dalton Schultz is a fucking idiot.
So everybody's turning on Tony Romo. I think he was just a little drunk that game. He'll come
Tony
back.
Romo was bad. Sorry, did you already cover this?
No.
He's no longer a good announcer. He was good his initial season after playing because he was still in the game enough to know like what was happening. Now he pretends to do that, talks all over the entire goddamn game, won't ever shut the fuck up, and he's like usually fucking wrong and has a bad
You think he just got too confident? You think he just got too confident? Because when he wasn't confident, he was like still studying the game and trying to like be the quarterback who knew everything and then was like had all this information, and then once like he got all this praise, he got overconfident and didn't do the work anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's like a matter of like overconfidence in doing the work, because when you're like a professional quarterback, you're literally watching film like 20 hours a day, and when you're an announcer, you watch film for like 2 hours before kickoff.
Yeah.
So
well,
like
my thought is that when he was going into these games, he was still like in quarterback mode, working like he was still a quarterback. That's why he was able to like say, "Oh, I know exactly what these guys are going to do," because he was still
he's basically like us, like reliving high school when we're like, "Oh, I was great in high school," and it's like, yeah, because you were like in shape and like knew the plays and shit, and now you're like, "Oh, that safety's in a 2-3 zone." You're like, "What the fuck's a 2-3 basketball?" And you're like, yeah, like we don't know what we're talking about anymore because we're so out of it.
I think it's in the Peyton cast or whatever. He still does a lot of that, and he's been out of the game longer than Romo. So I think he's still when he's gonna like actually talk about a game, or he's gonna try and do something like that, or at least Eli does. I don't know if Peyton still does it as well, but in the Peyton cast, Eli is still putting out content like that, and I think that they still study the games that they're gonna watch pretty heavily. I think Romo just got kind of big headed. That's my theory anyway.
Well, yeah, but I think they talk more about situational football, and Romo's trying to like diagnose plays and like doing it wrong, and it's like just like it would just be better if you just didn't talk.
So one thing I want to point out, because people are shitting on Collinsworth too, and I'm never going to shit on Collinsworth. That dude loves football. That dude loves football, and his loving football rubs off on me.
This is Chris Collinsworth covering Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's
That's what we should all do. That's what we should all do.
Listeners who aren't watching video, I was miming a blowjob.
That's how we should all cover Patrick Mahomes. He's a great football player. He's really fun to watch. We all are having the pleasure of watching.
I saw
one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Two things. So one was that Mahomes pump fake where he like fumbled the ball, but it was an incomplete pass, and Collinsworth saying that's the smartest football move I've seen in weeks or some shit like that. And then it like jump cuts to Trevor Lawrence throwing 65 yards in the air and hitting Christian Kirk in the hands, and Kirk dropping it, and Collinsworth going, "Oh, you can't overthrow a receiver like that." It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Collinsworth is a notorious front runner. He's a front runner real bad. Like he does this all the time. He'll be like, what was it? It was the Dolphins-Steelers game because everyone was just loving on Mike Tomlin on Sunday night. They were like, the Dolphins are just playing it back against the wall. We could do the same play. And he loves the legacies.
This might be a terrible take, but the announcers loving the black quarterback and hating on the young white superstar first round pick quarterback.
Refreshing.
It's kind of refreshing. Refreshing. It is like Cam Newton remember Cam Newton's treatment every time he got hit, and like he would get like smashed in the head, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's legal."
Yeah.
Like it's kind of nice to see like Patrick Mahomes get like this, the announcers all loving him, and like he gets flags thrown, and I kind of appreciate this treatment that he's getting. It's anyway.
I'm not hating. That's fair. My point is, one more point I want to talk about Greg Olson. So Greg Olson, Tom Brady has like that perpetual contract coming up with Fox, so he'll replace Greg Olson. I don't.
No, he
know.
won't. No, he won't.
That's my question, right?
He's going to replace somebody, but it's not going to be Greg Olson.
Greg Olson's been great. Like I think everyone knows him.
Who's replacing?
He's going to be the main Fox broadcast coming up.
Well, what was the guy?
Tom Brady has that job.
What was the guy who replaced David Pollock on game day?
I don't want Tom Brady in my life anymore. I don't want him in my life. I don't want him in my life.
What was the guy who replaced David Pollock on game day?
Oh God!
Isn't he still on it?
No, the Pat or
Pat McAfee.
Oh, Pat.
Pat McAfee sucked on game day. Is it him that's going to do it?
Because Pat McAfee is going to be the new Lee Corso. Whenever
he's going to be the Lee Corso. But didn't Pollock get replaced?
No, Pollock's still there.
Pollock's still there. So him and Kirk are still there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, then I think that they should just. I was thinking that could be Olsen's next move then to game day because he fits college really well too.
Yeah,
he was a star there.
I think Greg Olson and Tom Brady like jumping in line. Look, and I get it. Everyone wants that name value because at the margins it may make a difference, even though these people are getting paid an astronomical amount to talk about football. It's a ridiculous job. But Greg Olson shows like he has something. Aqib Talib has something. Like you see these young people that have something, and I don't know why Tom Brady would ever jump them in line. I've never thought of Tom Brady as being eloquent, humorous, any of those things.
Interesting.
Yeah, and none of that. Greg Olson is third leg Greg. He's obviously has an interesting backstory. He could probably be more.
He regrets all of that. He doesn't really like talking about that now because
he's like still did it.
He did.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, but he's like dad guy now, and he's such a good dude. I like Greg.
Oh yeah,
me too. I'm not
I feel like
negative thing.
I feel like he would be a really good dude to hang out with, like as a dad with our kids, and like let the kids go hang out and just like talk about the shit we used to do. Because I feel like we'd have something in common because we went to University of Miami and we like probably had people in common or something, you know?
Yeah.
We were there at the same time. You remember when Greg caught that pass from Kirby Freeman?
Oh,
I know. Yeah.
I know
more than Greg Olson from that song. I guess I could put it that way.
I went and hugged Al in the FSU stands after he caught that pass. That was him, right?
I don't know. So is that just? We just talked about the one game so far?
Yeah. All right. So these other two games were boat races. So Josh Allen can't play in the cold. Joe Burrow, super handsome, super awesome. You guys have more analysis on that? You have more analysis on that? I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that game. I was at a basketball game.
I love that it was a snow game. I love snow games. Give me all the snow games, especially when a team is good in them.
We're just gonna go backwards through these. The Eagles. I was at a wedding for this. I didn't get to watch much of it, but 38-7. Jalen Hurts good. Daniel Jones bad. Everybody can stop saying Daniel Jones good.
Not even Jalen Hurts being good. Their lines are ridiculous. Philadelphia's offensive line had Jalen Hurts could have like tap dance, did the river dance, could have had a sandwich back there and still gotten a pass. It was dumb. They were getting like 8 yards a rush. They were considerably better.
I think I saw the Eagles defensive. Their defense, I think, had 4 different guys with double-digit sacks this year.
They don't have the one. What are their names? They don't have the one Bosa brother. They don't have the one Bosa brother on their team, but they have like 4 guys that are almost that good. That's what the Jags are trying to build on their D line. The Jags have like 2 of those guys now. They just need 2 more or one Bosa to make those other 2 guys really good. You know.
Yeah, that Philadelphia team is scary good.
Speaking of the Jags, the other game was pretty good. The first game was it was pretty. It was the only real good game of the week.
Yeah,
it was the most interesting.
I was impressed with Jacksonville's effort. I thought that was as much them blowing the game as the Chiefs winning it, and I don't think they looked out of their depth at all.
I think that if Mahomes didn't hurt his leg, they could have ran away with it. But the Jags, were playing so tough. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Ooh, here's a fun one for a little hot take machine. Do you think it was intentional, Arden Key falling on Mahomes' ankle like that?
I do. I think they were trying to take any competitive advantage they could get.
I think so too. I think you can see him like looking, like pulling him down and looking and like pulling his leg forward to like make sure he's landing on him. To me, it looked intentional.
I wouldn't make that leap.
No,
The dude doesn't have like a dirty player reputation.
no,
I wouldn't make that leap. I think that trying to tackle somebody in the NFL is hard.
Yeah.
And he's trying to tackle a quarterback. You get penalties all the time, so he's like looking down to try and make. I don't think he was trying to like roll on him. I think he was just trying to make sure he got him down and didn't land on him.
Is it
Yeah.
official after this season that Urban Meyer is the worst NFL coach of all time? I mean, they restructured the roster. There was a
Cam
good
Cameron?
dude. Urban Meyer. This is largely the same
yeah.
team. They're a little bit older, but I think Peterson has been so good with that team.
Yeah, I think like the toxicity gets like does not get its fair shake either. If like Cam Cameron was like kicking your kicker and like calling guys like slurs and like starting fights and like saying he apologized to them but didn't apologize, and then also like finger banging a 20-year-old after he got blown out on the road.
Wait, Urban Meyer finger banged a 20-year-old after he got blown on the road?
After he got his ass kicked by the Bengals.
Oh, it was a
remember he
I
stayed
thought you meant he got blown in a football game, and I was like, I didn't hear the first part of that.
blown out.
I do want to open this
Blown away.
conversation just a little bit more, right? Because Urban Meyer
You
may be
cut out on the out.
he may be a little more fire and brimstone, right? And that's not unusual for college coaches. But now that college players are getting paid also, but in the NFL, this is a job, right? You're not going to yell at them. You're not going to tell them like, hey, this is your life. Did you see Coach Tim Brewster, right? Legendary coach, great recruiter, coach at Florida State, coach at a bunch of places, is now one of the main coaches in Colorado. Did you see his opening press conference as Deion Sanders' like right-hand man? Super embarrassing. It was incredibly cringe. He was like, stand up. Now sit down.
Oh, yeah. I saw that shit. Yeah.
And I think the problem is, as these college kids are going to get paid and the transfer portal is wide open, like, I think the whole approach to coaching kids is less like, hey, we're dictators. We're going to do this. Shit doesn't translate to the NFL, and I don't think it's going to translate to college much longer either.
Well, that kind of shit should not be in coaching, period. You should not need to do that at all. You don't need to be like in kids' face. You can be instructional. Like, lots of coaches are chill and good teachers, and those teams do well. I think all the screaming in people's faces and like, threatening them and all that shit can just kick the bricks, man. Hit the road. Get out of the game.
Agreed.
All sports. That's my hot take.
But I think Matt Rule brought a lot of that with him. And I think a lot of these college coaches are coming from the college ranks to the NFL. And I think it's a reason they don't do very well for the most part.
Yeah.
Harbaugh is different. Jim Harbaugh is a weird character. He's not one to necessarily get up in your ass about shit, but I think he's also had some success. For the most part, NFL guys bestow other good NFL coaches. College never translates, and I think it's this whole concept. But I'm happy the concept will probably go away because if you're paying me to be here, dude. And if you don't like it, I'll go somewhere else where they're paying me again.
Yeah. Those coaches are going to have to move down to high school, and then when they get out of high school, they're going to have to move down to Pee Wee, and then they kick it out of Pee Wee, and they're going to be cops.
Sorry, I distracted. Urban Meyer is the worst coach of all time. I think he's hands down the worst NFL coach there's ever.
I think that was a perfect take. I'm going to write that down. Good job, me.
I agree. I do think that he's probably the worst, but I think that my runner-up is Bobby Petrino.
Well, Bobby Petrino is a different.
It wasn't that he was a bad coach. He just left us in the middle of the night once he was done with us.
But that, again, Chris, that goes to the college coach MO, right? These guys come in here trying to tell professionals, you're going to stand up when I tell you. They're like, fuck you, dude. You paid me $10 million to be here. Cut me, I'll go sign somewhere else where it's a more pleasant work environment. I'm sorry. I really derailed this conversation.
I can tell you who the best coach of all time is. 3-year letterman on Twitter.
He is.
He's
the guy.
a youth football coaching legend.
He is. He's a legend in his own mind, I think they say.
Anyway, that was random.
What were we talking about? Football?
Yeah, I think so.
So let's get back into it. Anyone want to have anything else to add on the Kansas City Jacks? Chad Henne's awesome. I'm super happy to see him. He was instrumental to winning that game, a 96, 94-yard drive. Friggin' dope. It was the dope.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have won it without him. They wouldn't have won that game without that drive.
Yeah, I think the Jags were expecting to get a quick stop with the Chiefs pinned back with Henne in there, get the ball back and go take the lead, and he drove it 98 yards down their throat and pretty much ended the game.
Yep.
Now, do y'all think that Mahomes, how bad was the injury? Do you think he'll be 100% or
high ankle sprain? Not 100%. He's not going to be able to move like he normally does. And when Mahomes doesn't have his mobility, he's very limited. Now he's still one of the best throwers in the world. You could put him back there and cement bricks in the shotgun, and he's still going to be able to. He's probably a top 3 quarterback then.
Yeah, I saw something that said. And I think 2019, he had a high ankle sprain that he played through that they said like today or yesterday was worse than this one. So I think they expect him to play, and it shouldn't impact him as much as that one did. But I mean, that could also be a bunch of bullshit to make the Bengals game plan differently.
I did see that. Yeah, them referring back to the 2019 one.
Didn't they win the Super Bowl in 2019?
21 was the Rams, 20 was the
Chiefs.
Bucks, and then the
Chiefs beat the 49ers.
Yeah, the Bucks were 2019 then.
Yeah. All right. So we are an hour in almost, and one thing I forgot to do, which I'm bad at when I am the one driving this thing, I didn't recap last week's plays. So last week, let's start with Matt. Matt had no picks because he was getting an organ removed. Danny went 4-1 on his NFL playoff picks and won his Chuggy bet. Way to go, Danny.
Nice.
You got a beer that you should be passing out. Not that we're an hour in. Chris,
I'll give it to Matt.
Sunshine. Yeah, Matt, chug beer when he comes back.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not giving it to Matt.
I don't think he can chug right now.
Yeah, Matt's got.
Chris went 1-3 and also won a Chuggy bet, so he gets to pass one out. Andy, who's being a bitch again and is not present, he's also under the weather. Went 1-3 and won his Chuggy bet.
Wait, is Andy under the weather, or is he being a good dad again?
I think
he's being a good dad.
I think he said he didn't feel well, but
I mean, he said that last time, but he was clearly being a good dad.
Last time he was being a good dad. This time I think he's sick. All right, he's being sick this time. All right, fuck Andy. Andy, chug a beer.
Yeah, Andy. When you hear this, you have to chug a beer, even if you're driving. It's not good. not good advice.
Andy, pull over to the closest gas station. Go in. Get a Busch Light Gold Top. Go back to your car. Chug it. Get on the road.
Only one. That's not illegal.
And only if you haven't had any before this.
Yeah. But all of you guys suck in comparison to me. I went 6-1 on my Chuggy bet.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I did really good.
How did you make that many bets on 4 games?
I know. I bet 3 on the Jags game alone, and they all hit. I teased the Chiefs, and I bet the Jags, and I took the under, and all 3 of those hit. So,
all right, I'll chug a beer. Chug a beer for betting so much on the same fucking games.
So Matt, kick us off with the first game while I chug this beer.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll do it, I guess. Then I don't have the thing open. We just have Al chugging a beer while Matt's eating.
At 3:00. The line is currently Philadelphia -2.5. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do here, and it's not the smart play. Don't do it at home. I'm going to tease Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia will likely win this game, and I'm going to take. We're doing the betting portion, right?
Yes. We're finally on to our picks an hour in.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to take Philadelphia -2.5. I'm going to take them across the 0 into the other side at +3.5. I think if San Francisco wins, it is going to be a field goal. It's going to be a tied game late, but the likelihood is that Philadelphia wins this game. I probably will just lay the 2.5 also, but my favorite play is taking it across and making it +3.5 on a teaser. I know it's dumb.
It's not dumb. It's not dumb. So the reason you're saying that's dumb is because you think that the only good teasers are Wong teasers. And that's not the case, right? Like we've gone over this before. Andy and I have talked about this. You've talked about it. Wong teasers are great. Wong teasers are great regardless of who's playing. You can bet every single Wong teasers, and those can be winners if you have the right odds, right? If you're at a book that gives you the -110 or the -115, Wong teasers can be winners regardless of who's playing. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use teasers in other scenarios. Like I've said, I've been teasing a lot of the 3s up to 9s based on the ways NFL teams are playing differently now.
New math they use, yeah.
Kind of the new math teams are using, and that's been working for me. If you believe that a team will win by a certain amount, but maybe you want a little cushion, and you like it. Say it's like you want half a Wong and you like the other side, and there's not another Wong to hit, but you like, let's say like you got the Chiefs here at +1. Say you like the Chiefs at +7, but you don't like the 49ers at +8.5, right? But you want to make a teaser here. Going the other way isn't the dumbest idea.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly my point. I think the likelihood. Look, if I teased up San Francisco to 8.5, I understand that there's a good chance that happens, but I'm more scared of Philadelphia winning by double digits than I am San Francisco winning by 4, right? Yeah. That's where that scares me.
In this specific scenario, I like what your bet. I'm not going to do it in this scenario. What I'm going to do is because I like the lines, both of them even, that aren't good for Wong. So I like both favorites at the low totals.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's no wrong way to win a bet.
Yeah.
If your bet hits, it doesn't matter.
But
there's tons of wrong ways to lose a bet, but
well, don't tease totals ever.
Yeah.
It's never a good idea to tease a total. They're too volatile.
Zach.
So yeah, Zach, stop teasing totals, please. He's always like winning without needing the teaser or losing without needing the teaser. Like it's never a good idea to tease totals. They're too volatile. Take the plus or minus. Anyway, if you like Philly and you want to tease it with Kansas City in this scenario, because Kansas City is a good one to tease at +1, you get the +7, right? Or if you can get a +1.5 on a different book, you get the +7.5. That's a good tease, right? And you don't want to do San Francisco because you think you're worried of Philly blowing them out, then tease the Philly down and you get to over 3.5. You're good. That's a good bet.
Matt, I love the teaser. I love it. You want to know why I love it? Because I think Philly's winning, and like you said, I think they're winning by a large margin. And I don't think there's any way this Bengals Chiefs game is more than a score.
Well,
so I'm definitely 2 winners.
I'm definitely betting both of these favorites, the -2.5 and the -1. I'm probably going to take a Philly alt line at plus money because I agree with you guys that Philly's going to boat race the 49ers. Yeah. I just don't think Brock Purdy's going to be able to handle the pass rush.
So I'm taking Philly -2.5. I'm taking Philly alt line -6.5 at +165.
If I can find that one somewhere, I'm going to do that. That's a really great bet, Al. That's a really great bet. That's my favorite bet of the weekend.
Yeah, and then I'm taking San Fran team total under 21.5.
I love that. They're not getting over 21.5 on that defense.
Yeah.
No way, no how. I mean, the game stinks like an under because I like Brock Purdy. I like Iowa State. I like Matt Campbell. I like their whole get-up that they've got going on. I like that he's Mr. Irrelevant. I like his whole storyline, his family from Arizona, his brother that's now at Nebraska from Florida State. Like them all. I think there's going to be a rude-ass awakening.
He's a family friend of Tony Baselli, I found out listening to God Bless Football last week.
Oh.
Everything about him seems like he comes from a good family. He seems great. I think there's going to be a rude-ass awakening. Kyle Shanahan is the best in the business at drawing up offense. So that may make it more interesting, but Scares the shit out of me. Philadelphia's
He's got every weapon you could ever want.
Yep.
The best tight end in football right now, I think.
Great running back, great wide receiver.
Yeah. Matt, you said you liked it was smelling like an under, and we didn't get the Sunshine's play. Sonny, what are you on here for this one?
I took the under.
Hell yeah, you did.
I think that what's that, Matt?
46.5? Is that the number?
Yeah. Under 46.5. I think that both of these defenses are just too good. And even if it is a rude ass awakening for Brock and Shanahan, that like their defense is still going to keep them in the game, like relatively close. But it always sucks betting the under because it means you get to watch a boring ass game.
Yeah.
I like it. It's like hedging entertainment. You're like, oh, if it's going over, it's gonna be fun to watch, and if it doesn't, I get to make money. So you're like, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Oh, but even like last week, I was starting to sweat the Eagles under against the Giants, which was I think 48.5. And it's like 38-7 final, and it cleared by 3.5 points. But it felt sweaty because I was like, at any moment the Eagles can just take it out of the house and this thing's toast. But Giants only put 7 up. So if the 49ers get held to 7, this thing's probably going under. But I would expect a little more than 7 points out of the 49ers this week. But I think the under aligns well with what everyone's thinking for this one.
And
I think one of these teams is barely over 20, the other is barely under 20.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. San Francisco played Dallas's defense last week. Dallas has an awesome defense, and they put up 19. I think Philadelphia's defensive line is friggin' terrifying. And luckily, San Francisco has Trent Williams, that horse. It's like a house on the one side of the line.
The new Tyron Smith, right? He's just such a badass on the left tackle. He's the new Walter Jones. He's the new Orlando Pace. He's just the guy right now,
There's Andy did give us a pick for this week, and so I'm gonna cover it right now, but I also want to mention why I think this is a bad play. So Andy's play is teasing San Francisco to plus 8.5 and teasing the Chiefs to plus 7.5. I already covered why I like the Chiefs at plus 7.5. That game feels like it's going to be a one-score game for sure. But San Francisco plus 8.5. So this is a teaser. I think a lot of squares are going to be betting this week. I think Vegas and the books are probably going to have some liability on that. And when that happens, they love when one team gets blown out. And so while that could be the Bengals blowing out the Chiefs, I think it's far more likely we see the Eagles blow out the 49ers. And whoops, all these teasers that everybody thought were sure things blow up in their face, and Vegas laughs to the bank. And I get to laugh at Andy if he ever comes back on the podcast. That's what I'm hoping. But Andy,
if Andy ever comes back on his podcast,
no, he's got to get back to his podcast. I was out a week. Come on now, we need you back, buddy.
He's on a short term or long term.
I don't hate Andy's teaser. I just think that he saw the Wong numbers and did it because it's a good bet.
But I think also that's probably why the lines are where they are.
I don't think Wong's hit is well in the championship games. And if you look historically, the championship games in the divisional round, I think they don't hit as well. I'd have to go check my numbers on that, but I'm just going from memory right now.
Is there going to be a more hateful place? Like, consider like Afghanistan, consider all these countries around the world. I don't think there will be a more hateful place in the world than Lincoln Financial Stadium in Philadelphia on Sunday. It is going to be the vitriol is going to be live. They're like the
they're going to be throwing batteries at Santa again.
They're going to be.
I don't know. Could Kansas City boo Unity while Joe Cool's it?
Yes, they may be. They may not be the most intelligent, but they're decent, right? Like they're not going to
decent. They booed Unity. Everybody just got there and they're like, "Hey guys, we're all people," and they're like, "No, you're not."
Everybody go to TikTok. See the live things that are going on at Lincoln Financial Field. It's going to be.
I don't know much about Philadelphia, but I feel like they're not. That's not like. Yeah.
It may be second to like North Korea, but it's pretty close.
So maybe like the Russians who just decided to go kill a bunch of people who were just trying to be minors.
I think the Russians need to learn how to make better windowsills because people keep falling out of them. It's weird. Their buildings are all faulty, slanted towards the window. Shall we go to Cincy?
Damn good tennis players, though. They're damn good tennis players.
Yeah. I'm really
one thing. I wanted to mention
the white flag. The white flag is crushing it. The Australian Open.
So, since 2016, I just looked this up. Since 2016, half of the conference championship games have been double digit. Like half of those games have been double digit margins.
Teaser scary then, huh? In general,
yeah, that's kind of my thought. I'm thinking one of these games is not going to be as close as the line is.
I'm just saying, I didn't look it up, but thanks for looking that up. I just think that they tend to be closer lines, and they tend to when you have a close line, you're very likely to have a Wong teaser. Both games are close lines. You're very likely to have a Wong teaser available. They're very likely to not hit if you have a double-digit game in one of them. So,
yeah. So let's move on to the next one. Kansas City hosting the Bengals. What do you guys have in this one?
It's real simple. Baby blue eyes, blonde hair, best quarterback in the NFL. He's the coolest fucking dude I've ever seen. He looks like an alpaca.
Are you describing Chad Henne?
You know who I'm talking about.
Joe Cool, baby. Joe Cool.
I'll kick us off here. So as I've been doing all the other weeks, I'm laying the points for the Bengals. I got them at -1? -1. Yeah, and that is also going to be my chuggy bet. And I want to take the point to. I just want to point this out that Joe Burrow has never been a favorite in any of his playoff games, and Patrick Mahomes has never been an underdog in any of his playoff games. So they just flipped that.
Oh,
they now flipped it and reversed it.
What is
bang down, flip it and reverse it? It's swang,
what's
it's a
Joe Burrow's record against Patrick Mahomes? Is it 3-0, 4-0? I know he has like an unbelievable record.
Yeah, I thought it was 4-0, but I think you said 3-0.
I don't know.
One or the other. We don't need to be like the stats like gurus here. It's 3 or 4-0. We know it's one of those.
He's really freaking good against Kansas City and Pat Mahomes.
Well, you could have stopped that sentence at good.
No, I just saying.
If he's around me, you could have stopped it freaking.
Yeah, he's really freaking. I'm gonna. This is the other leg of my teaser. I do think eventually Kansas City is gonna win one of these games. That's where I'm not laying the points with Cincinnati. I think I kind of like the idea of Andy Reid motivating the boys being a dog at home. And I understand Joe Burrow's really good. Like I know Cincinnati, the receivers are terrifying. They got a good defense. Al and I said they were an under 500 team earlier in the year, and boy, was I wrong. But
I was with you on that, guys. I was with you on that. I just forgot how good Joe Burrow was. I don't know why I did that. Or like, what happened to my brain? Like, we watched him all last year. He made the fucking Super Bowl.
It's very good.
Unbelievable. But plus 7.5, I do think, to Al's point earlier, I think this game is going to end up being a one-score game. So plus 7.5, Kansas City on the teaser.
I mean, what was it? 3 years ago, he was the best. He ran the best college offense in the whole, like, of all time.
The best I've ever seen. Yes. Yeah. And there's still nobody better than that team. Even
than that offense.
Jamar
there were two teams better. There were two teams better.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Team wise, there's 0-1 Miami Hurricanes.
Jameis's FSU team was even better than us. They dominated everybody.
No, 0-1 Miami team is about as good as I've ever seen.
I mean, this is a funny argument of Kane saying that the FSU team was better and the FSU. Yeah,
it's okay if you think Joe Burrow's LSU team is the best college football team ever.
I think it's the best
offense. They were the best offense.
Doesn't matter. They scored.
I mean, was the offense so much better than all other offenses that it doesn't matter what their defense was like?
Yep.
I don't even know. They
Jamar
might even
Chase,
have a
Justin
good
Jefferson.
defense. Who knows?
That's it.
Um,
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. There you go.
So-
There you go, receivers.
Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. That's actually a really good argument.
That's all I got.
No.
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire as your running back. So
I
You didn't even
saw
have to say the quarterback's name.
I saw a funny argument online today. I guess the Bills general manager, Jason, some Bean, some dude named Bean.
Pinto?
Yeah, Pinto Bean was doing his postseason press conference, and he was talking about how, when you get a Jamar Chase, it means you had to have been bad enough to have picked that high, and we're not a bad team, so we don't get to have picks like that. And where the fuck was I going with this?
You could just accidentally pick Waddle instead of Jamar Chase.
So then Bengals fans were like giving him shit, and they're like, oh, I guess a good GM trades their pick away for Stephon Diggs and pays him like a top receiver salary, and then the team you traded that pick to drafts Justin Jefferson on a rookie deal. That's what smart GMs do. It's like, yeah, touche.
Yeah.
I think I'd honestly probably rather have Justin Jefferson than Stephon Diggs.
I'd rather have
Especially,
Justin Jefferson.
Regardless of contract.
Yes. Justin Jefferson and Ty Hill are the 1 and 2 receivers that anybody would want in this league. After that, I think Waddle, Chase, and Diggs are like at that next level. But,
yeah, I think you're throwing Waddle in there, and he shouldn't be, but he's like
Devontae Adams.
Like the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Waddle's in that. I think Waddle's in that second tier of best receivers.
Justin Jefferson is so dominant.
The only reason you think Waddle's not in that second tier is because he's on Ty Hill's team right now.
Yes, that's the reason. Like you're saying, like McCole Hardman would be like a number 3, like the third best receiver in the league 2 years ago. But it's because Tyreek Hill gets all the attention, so then there's another guy who's open who just has to catch it.
No, he was that good the year before when he was a fucking rookie.
No. Anyway,
I think Justin
Waddle's
Jefferson,
really good. I'm not saying he's bad. I feel like you think I'm saying he's bad. I just think he's not the third best receiver in the league.
I didn't say he's the third best receiver in the league. I said he's in the second tier of receivers being close to guys like Diggs, and he's in that second tier. You think he's a third tier?
How many guys do you have in that second tier, though?
10.
Okay, that's a lot of people to have in that tier. If you were to say,
I put the 2 in the first tier. I put 2 in the first tier. I put probably 10 guys in that second tier. I don't think they're all separating from each other. They're all really good.
Okay. Waddle is really good, by the way.
Anyway,
sorry,
Danny, what's your thought on the Cincinnati Kansas City game? Do you have a play on this? Did you give your play?
I told you guys this play like 10 times. It's Joe Burrow. How many times are I going to tell you? I want to fuck Joe Burrow.
Okay. Al, do you have a feel? I know you. Sonny was laying. Do you have a feel on this game? Oh, you have the one score.
So my thought was just that I really wish I would have caught Cincinnati +3 when it opened, and then it immediately moved, and it moved too much, and now I don't have a good read on which side I want. I thought about taking Kansas City money line because I feel like everyone's going to be on the Bengals.
I do too.
But it was strictly just like fading what I think the public's going to be on kind of thing.
Dude, the Bengals moved all the way to like -2.5 though. Like you could have got Kansas City +2.5 today.
Yeah.
So like there's big bets on both sides of it. There's big bets on both sides of this.
But, yeah, well, I think my point is I think I liked Cincy, and getting a field goal was good. But now since everyone's on Cincy, I think Kansas City,
everyone's on both of this.
Still doesn't feel good. So
your argument of everybody being on one side is false because since he moved all the way to 2.5, and then everybody jumped on Kansas City, so like everybody's on both sides now.
I mean, I think moving 5 points one way and then 1 point the other way is not even. But
it's right in the middle of where it was. It was 2.5 and then 2.5. I mean, it's like right there.
Okay. But yeah, so I don't have a good read on this one. So I think I don't have a play in this game, even though there's only 2 games this week. That's why I gave you guys 3 plays in the other one.
Love it.
So hopefully I'm right on that one.
So
I know I'm right on this one. Joe Cool is going to win.
Yeah, then we'd all be right.
Al,
Except
what's
Andy.
your chuggy bet? Do you got a chuggy bet on this before we start going?
Yeah, I'll do Philly -2.5.
Hell yeah, let's do that. I know Chris is going Cincy -1. Andy's only got the teaser. I only have the teaser, so those are good. Danny,
Guess my chuggy bet.
Cincinnati -1. All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
All right. So that's football. That's American football, everybody. We did it.
Honestly, I really want to talk soccer, but somehow we went an hour and 20 minutes. You guys want to go?
Hey, let's talk about Aussie Open for five minutes really quick, all right? And then we can go.
Dude, it's been an amazing tournament. I've had so much fun watching it.
It's been ridiculous, right? So we're on the precipice of going into the semifinals. So everybody, some of this content we may give you is garbage because if the results turn out in a different way, what we're saying is nonsense. Let's put that on the forefront. We've got Shelton and Paul. Cool thing here, an American is making the semifinals for the men's. That has been a long-ass time. And granted, the winner is probably going to face Djokovic, and that's going to be a short battle. But, hey, that's a great step for American men.
If you're listening to this live, which is impossible, take the over on this match right now. They're both holding serve the whole match.
Shelton
It's
and
going
Paul?
to be 7-6, 7-6, 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. It's going to be 5-match 7-6s.
Yeah. So as of we're speaking right now, Tsitsipas is going to play Hachovic. No, I messed up his name. Hachinov. And I kind of I think Tsitsipas is probably going to finally hit the
Hachinov is how you say that? That dude has just been crushing my favorite tennis players, and it makes me sad. Like, he beat the fuck out of Korda, and Korda's, just emotionless ass. Like, he plays emotionless tennis, or at least he did this match. Like, he hasn't in the past, but he did this tournament, and I thought that was going to get him to the final. I actually made a bet on him a couple of days ago before this match and before the match before at plus 20 to 1 or something. It was 20 to 1, I think I got for him to win because he just looked like he was so locked in, not making any even his fist pumps looked like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And the other one, the other super happy bet I made was Tiafoe because I just sip for Tiafoe. He's my favorite player. He's his fist bumps. Those are happy fist bumps.
Those are excellent fist bumps. He is a Grand Slam winner if it was just in fist pump abilities. He would have had Wimbledon by now. But it really comes down to this, Danny, and I'm going to open this up to you. Considering the field, would you take Djokovic or anyone else still available?
No, I don't even need to say anybody else. Tsitsipas. I can't say his name. We did this last week. We did this last week when I picked him to win. Tsitsipas.
Yeah, I think this is as good of an attempt as any, right? Djokovic has not been invited.
It's his turn. It's Tsitsipas' turn. And also, Rublev could totally take out Djokovic.
Agreed. So Djokovic has had...
Rublev is good. Good.
And I know Djokovic hasn't had as much seasoning recently because of the vaccination status and all that, everything that was going on.
He's played recently. He's in form. Djokovic is in form.
Grand Slam. He hasn't. No one's seen him in a Grand Slam recently.
Right.
And his game is going to carry the betting value.
But he has not. He has not been in the quarters and semis of a Grand Slam recently. Yes.
No, it's been a bit. If I were to bet, I would lay the games with Tsitsipas against Hachinov. I think it's probably 3.5 would be my guess. I do think they'll cover, and I think Hachinov is a tough. He is a very.
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over in that. I think that's a 5-set. Also, I think Hachinov is just playing too fucking good, man. His serve is on point. He's getting so many are in. I think he's getting almost 80% of his first serves in, and he's winning 78% of those points or something. He's too good right now.
Do you guys know how hard it is to serve?
Just in
I have
general?
not played a lot of tennis.
Yeah, Matt and I actually, when we were younger and we used to live together, we would go out and try and play tennis together. And like, I cannot get a hard first serve in at all. Matt can do it. Matt can get a hard first serve in. I can't do it at all.
Yeah.
Matt
Yeah,
would
I learned
actually
a
just
lot.
like be nice to me and like he would do the what was her name that would do the underhand serve? He would do that for me just so we could play together. Sabalenka. He would do the Sabalenka just so we could actually like play some volleys.
I learned a lot about tennis getting my ass kicked by my buddy Matt. Because he played tennis in high school and I had never played, but I was like, oh, I'm athletic. I'm gonna go out there and like I can beat him. I can hang with him at least. And I go out there and he's just always in the right spot, and I'm just always not. And I'm like, and I'm also not. It's not going where I want to hit it to, and it's like, fuck. It's a fucking hard sport.
It's a tough
So he's like the Timo Werner of positioning in tennis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although
Too bad he's
he's
not the Timo
better
Werner of
finisher.
hitting the ball. Too bad he's not the Timo Werner of hitting the ball in tennis. You could have beat him.
Yeah, right.
But to Danny's point, I think Tsitsipas to win would be an interesting bet. I don't know.
Already have it, but I took it before the match. I don't remember the line I got, but it was good.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting one because the betting public's going to be on Djokovic. And look, Djokovic is great. He's one of, if not the greatest of all time at this point. So I understand that, but I think this is his opportunity to lose. You can get in the Nadal, Federer, Djokovic.
Nadal, Joker, Federer. It's hard to put Federer 3 because of his like class, right? Like I want Federer to be number one. I mean, we could do this for a fucking hour talking tennis, but like I want Federer to be 1. I think you would probably feel the same way. He just like he exudes like all the class you want out of a tennis player. He dominated for like our like middle school and high school and college age, and then these guys sort of came like 4 or 5 years after him to start like being able to compete with him. And also he's way more handsome than them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nadal also a very likable guy, I think.
Also a very
Basically,
likable guy.
Djokovic is the one I think is a tool.
I think he's I hate him. I also think whoever wins this
the numbers on Joker though, I didn't mean to interrupt you again, bud, but the numbers on Joker are just too good to keep him behind Federer. Like the thing that keeps Federer above is just like
his grasp,
demeanor, class, and the way he played. Demeanor, class, the way he played, and the way he dominated before those guys came because they had to step up to him.
And he's the best on grass, right? Like, and Wimbledon is the trophy that people see the most, right? Like, and it's the same thing. Like Nadal's the best on clay ever. Just people care about.
That's not even close. That's not even close.
I know. He's the best ever by far. I do think whoever wins this American match, I think whoever wins the American match and whoever wins Rublev Djokovic, the winner of Rublev Djokovic will probably win that next match in 4. Would be my guess. That would be probably the number I'd put it at. I don't know if you boys have anything else before we talk about some women.
I don't think the Shelton Paul match. Like I said, I think this is going to go 5. I don't think they have a shot. I think you're right. I don't think they have a shot.
No,
so, consideration: would you bet Rublev like money line to win the Aussie Open right now, or
No.
Djokovic, or both of them?
Neither of them. I'm sticking with my Tsitsipas.
Oh, Matt, you were saying that you think, because the winner of these 2 matches tonight has to play Tsitsipas.
Whoever wins that will make the final, but I don't think they're going to win the final. I think Tsitsipas is going to win.
You guys want to talk about what a giant upset today. Pliskova, who has a long pedigree, getting upset by Lynette in the quarterfinals.
Dude, Lynette's done that a couple of times this road here. She's been good.
She's been road grading the shit out of ranked names, like big ass names. And Sabalenka has just been a friggin' horse, killing everybody and taking them out by the throat. So is the semi set for women? Oh, hell yeah, it is. So we got Lynette going against Sabalenka and Rybakina versus Azarenka. I don't know if you guys have a play here. Rybakina has been brutal also. I would assume it's going to be Sabalenka Rybakina, even though Azarenka has killed like 4 Americans, and I hate everybody.
She makes me so mad, but I kind of like watching her.
I like both of them. Rybakina is awesome too, right? Like they're both really, really talented women.
Rybakina, very good. Rybakina, very good tennis player, also very attractive
Wimbledon
tennis player.
champion. Wimbledon champion too,
Yes.
right? So
Yep.
she's been in this position before.
Classy.
Azarenka has been
Classy.
a major tournament also. I think that's going to be super interesting. I think Sabalenka is going to kill Lynette. I think Sabalenka is playing terrifyingly good.
I don't know, but Lynette took out Garcia in the round of 16. She took out Kontaveit.
Kontaveit, yeah, who's probably top 20.
Yeah, it's just 16. Yeah, she took out Pliskova, who's top 30, I think.
Yep.
Alexandrova in the round of 32. Like, she had a road to get here. The round of 30. So Alexandrova in the round of 32, Kontaveit in the round of 16. Like, dude, or a round of 64. So, dude, that is a road. Kontaveit, Alexandrova, Garcia. That was like her first 3 matches. That is a road. She might just be like announcing herself. Is what's going on here.
Guys, I got a little quiz for you here. So I want you guys to give me what you think the odds are for each of those 4 women in the finals, or the semifinals, to win the Aussie Open is.
I would say Sabalenka is plus 150. Rybakina and Azarenka.
Sabalenka's definitely minus money.
I would guess Rybakina and Azarenka are the same, and Lynette's a much bigger odds.
I would guess Sabalenka's like minus 150 to minus 200. Azarenka and Rybalenka are like plus 150 each, and Lynette's a long shot.
So, based on what you guys just said, it sounds like there's value on Azarenka. So it's Sabalenka is plus 120.
Okay.
Rybakina plus 160. And then Azarenka plus 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is value. That is
and
value.
Lynette plus 900.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet Azarenka in that match, and I'm going to bet her to win for like right now.
Currently, so if you guys want to talk about those lines, Azarenka's plus 180 on the game line. Rybakina is minus 220. I don't love giving 3 games to a player of Azarenka's talent and pedigree. Like that's a scary proposition. I'll probably take the over 22. Actually, I think the over 22 here. I think it's probably going to go 3 sets.
If it goes 3, you're going over 22. If it goes 3, you're going over 22.
So that's probably my play in that one. I mean, and then Sabalenka, I don't know what you want to do with that game. If you guys have a preference there, I know Al's been pretty on point, and Danny's we both have been pretty on point.
Honestly, I'm probably just gonna do a lotto ticket on Lynette because of who she's beaten so far.
Sure, I get it.
I don't think she's gonna win. I don't think she's gonna win, but like, it's what is the odds
for
Lynette to beat Sabalenka? It's like 700 or something.
Plus 300 in this match.
I'll wait till she's down a set and then I'll bet her.
You really want that lotto ticket? You're trying to make millions of that shit. Al, do you have any?
I buy a lotto ticket every day on the way home from work because I hate working.
Yeah, I mean, if I think I'd be betting over-unders on this. I think I'd be betting the over on the Rybakina Azarenka and the under on the Lynette Sabalenka.
Yeah, the under on Sabalenka Lynette is going to put you at 6-4, 6-4, which is not a terrible number, right? So you have to win in straight sets. It's 20.5. You just have
3
to.
Sets though.
She has to break one. She has to break one serve per. That's probably a good bet. I like under 20.5. I assume Sabalenka will break her once.
If she wins the coin flip, if she wins the coin flip and serves first and breaks her once, it's 6-3. Then the other one serves first and she breaks her once, it's 6-4. That's how it goes.
Yeah. 9 and 10, 19. That's under 20.5.
If she loses the coin flip, right, then it's going to go 6-4, 6-4, and then you're in a little trouble that she might have to end up winning on a break if she loses. You know?
Yeah, minus 4.5 is a really big number at this point. But Lynette, hot players, right? Hot players. I don't necessarily
minus 4.5. You have to win on a break, or she has to win the coin flip.
Yeah, you have to win 6-3, 6-4. Is how it works. That's exactly.
You have to win on the break, or you have to win a coin flip.
Yep. But I think Sabalenka is probably going to win it. I do think there's value in Azarenka now. I'm actually going to probably put that in. I didn't realize she'd be plus 500. Rybakina's been a horse, but Azarenka's had a tough run to get here too. How old is Victoria Azarenka? Let me see.
She's not as old as you think because women's tennis, they tend to crap out early. Like, not everybody's, I say crap out early, that was rude. Not everybody's Serena is my point. Not everybody plays till they're 35.
33.
He's 33. The Belarusian, oh my God, we could have an all Belarusian battle. And the best part about that is Australian Open won't show either.
A white flag. Looks
like a treaty battle.
Wait, Rybakina, isn't she former Russian and left, and now she's Kazakhstanian? So there's like a little.
But she lives in Moscow.
What are you guys talking about? What is this flag thing you guys are talking about?
The Australian Open has banned the Russian and Belarusian flag because of the war in Ukraine. They won't show it on their broadcast.
The global
I'm a bad citizen. I didn't realize Belarus was involved.
Here's
Belarus is a staging area for Russia when they're
basically like borders with both of those, so it makes sense.
So this is an important thing to think about when you're betting Azarenka. Her best results for Grand Slam singles have all come in 2013. She has not accomplished the same thing since 2013, but she's won the Australian Open twice in 2012 and 2013. Now, a decade later is a lifetime in tennis when you're from 23 to 33.
It happened with Martina Hingis.
No, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying
Sabalenka's the favorite. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
She's plus 120? Yeah. Okay.
I don't mind the plus 120 either.
Yeah.
Rybakina, Sabalenka, I don't think has a major at this point. I'll check it out. I know Rybakina won the Wimbledon a couple of years ago because she acted like it was not a big deal. She was very Russian about it. She's like, "Oh, I played tennis. That was fun."
But she's Kazakhstanian. But she's Kazakhstanian.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. She lives in Moscow now. She's from Russia, but the tennis federation won't get behind her, so she's now Kazakh. All right, that's Australian Open coverage, everybody. Thank you for enjoying this experience with me. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as well.
Dude, I love the Australian Open. This is my favorite tennis tournament because it's on in the middle of the night, and I have kids and I can't sleep. And I also was in college once and couldn't sleep because I did a lot of let's not put that on the podcast.
You had
a lot of late night cram sessions.
Yes, late night studying. I did a lot of late night studying.
You did a lot of You had a lot of allergies in the evening. You had to blow your nose.
We're 15 minutes. That was a tight 15 minutes on tennis.
I feel like we provided a lot of context.
That was good. Do you guys want to touch on the FA Cup at all since the Premier League's off for a week?
I'll let you guys know.
Dude, you know I do, but
so I'll just mention. So there's something like 12 or 15 games going on between Friday and Sunday or Monday. So there's plenty of games to be bet.
These are hard to bet, man. These games are hard to bet.
Yeah, so caveats first and foremost is you've got a lot of lower level clubs playing higher level clubs. So you've got big talent discrepancy, but you've also got, it's also a cup. So you've got teams that have varying degrees of effort and willingness to win these matches. Like for one, you've got Manchester City versus Arsenal. It's going to kick things off on Friday afternoon. But you don't know which team, or if both teams or neither team really cares about this matchup, So there's a lot of things beyond just the pure talent of the starters and who their best 11 are to take into account when betting these games. There's also one thing.
There's also another cup going on at the same time. I mean, Man U and Nottingham have the first leg of their semifinal
in the Carabao.
In the cup that nobody cares about, but I'm sure Rashford's going to score in one of those two games because he scores in fucking every game right now. So, by the way, if you want to win a bet Rashford to score. It's always plus 200 or better.
Yeah, that would have made you a lot of money over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Oh,
it's been about 3 weeks I've been betting it, and I'm just like, ever since the World Cup ended, basically, I've been betting Rashford to score, and it's been.
Yeah, I was saying, I think he scored in 4 of his last 5 matches. So if you're getting plus 2 plus on each of those,
plus 200 or better in every game.
Yeah, you're making a lot of money on that. But to run through a couple of these matchups that might be worth looking at, I guess the other point to make is
Check
before
the
you bet
lineups.
these,
Don't
check the
bet
lineups.
until the lineups come out. Lineups come out
Yeah.
about 45 minutes to 30 minutes before. Wait till the lineups come out before you bet, because you don't want to be stuck with a stupid De Bruyne assist when De Bruyne's on the bench in this Arsenal Man City game. If they bench him for that because he played in the Premier League game before or whatever, you don't want that. So, in this Arsenal game, I would go with who would be a good bet in this game. Actually, this is a bet I'm going to take. What's the striker's name that's replaced
Ketia?
Ketia. This dude has been on fire. I'm betting him to score in this.
Who is Ketia?
He's their striker. Gabriel Jesus has been playing. And
for
had 2
Arsenal?
goals the other day.
Jesus has been hurt, and this guy has come in and just said, "This is my job." He says, "I am the captain now."
Yes, he's taking over that shit.
And I don't think, dude, I love Gabriel Jesus, and this guy is out there like, there's no way you can just give him his job back. Like, I don't want you to lose your job when you're hurt, and Jesus is playing good. He's one of the best fantasy Premier League players this year, and this guy, come on, he's just playing.
So you're betting him to score against Man City?
Yes, I'm betting him to score against Man City, and then Haaland to score like 3 times. So you just take Haaland hat trick.
I don't think Haaland's going to play. I think it's going to be Alvarez probably at the striker position. I think they're going to give him some rest. I don't know.
I would bet in this game Arsenal plus a half goal. I think would be my favored bet depending on the lineups.
Ooh, I think I just found another one I think I like. I'm gonna bet it. So some bets I like.
That's the Friday game. The Saturday games are so many, man. Like the Leeds game, I'm definitely betting Americans to score in the Leeds game.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not like in it to like make money and be all serious about it, this is a fun one just to place a few like, $5 bets and just have a little rooting interest while you have all these games going on at once. Like at 10 o'clock Eastern, there's 7 games on simultaneously. So it'd be fun to put a.
It won't be this year, but at some point they're going to figure out how to do Golazo like they do for Champions League for English soccer, because like Golazo is awesome, and the English soccer version of what did they call it, Matt? It's like Goal Zone or something.
Zone. It's awful.
It's trash. It's like we watch one game and then they show me a highlight. It's basically watching a regular NFL football game.
Yeah. But yeah, so some of the bets I like, I'm taking laying the 1.25 with Fulham home against Sunderland. Sunderland's bad. Fulham is kind of playing well at the moment, even though they're also not like super great. But they're a lot better.
How do you feel about the Blackpool Southampton game? I'm thinking about the plus money on Blackpool.
I don't have any thoughts on it. Okay. In general, I like taking home dogs. I think that's probably it. Yeah, or if you like a road dog, or a road favorite, maybe just second guess yourself on it. So
I should second guess Tottenham and Preston?
Maybe. You can bet at money line, but it's minus 305. Taking Tottenham minus 1.5.
If I bet that game, it's going to be Son to score, because Son has been cold, and I feel like that's going to be like a get right game for him.
That's one where like Tottenham wins by 1, and you're like, damn it, or they win by like 5, and you're like, damn it, I should have bet it. So I don't know.
The reason it goes like that's why I'm thinking like just like one of the guys that hasn't scored in a while to score, maybe Richarlison. If he's in the starting lineup. I'll wait till the starting lineups come out for that one.
I might actually try and watch a bunch of these games, because I love to like scoreboard watch these, because a lot of the time these games are on like while I'm at the office, and I can kind of just keep an eye on the score and see where things are going, but I don't get to physically watch the games. Because I wonder if like these smaller clubs just park the shit out of the bus and are just like, try to keep a goal out, and that's just how they play it.
There's a couple games I think are like easy to identify here, like Burnley getting quarter ball as a favorite. They're the best. They are a Premier League team from last year. They're the best in the championship this year. They're playing Ipswich Town. I don't even know how to say it. It's probably worth rolling the dice there.
Yes.
And also, I'm going to ruin Chris and everyone who enjoys FX and Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Mhm.
If you have to take
Sheffield, you got to take Sheffield here.
you have to take Sheffield, lay the half a goal.
The
Sheffield
blades, baby. Take the blades.
Sheffield is second in the
You guys are a bunch of terrorists. What?
Okay, good.
You hate America's darling?
I guess I do.
Really? The Wrexham?
Well, Sheffield United is Welsh Wales darling.
Well, so is Wrexham. They're everybody's
Yeah.
darling now.
Correct.
You're
Right.
represented by your favorite social media company, your favorite gin, everything.
Yeah.
How can you hate on Wrexham?
I get
Terrorist.
everything you're saying. Sheffield is a class above them. And for half a goal, look, and it's in Wrexham, so I'm sure that crowd is going to be lit. It's
I've
gonna be
spent
lit.
hours learning more about these people than they will ever
Does
realize.
Sheffield United still have McBurney?
Sheffield United has.
I will be taking Matt. I don't want to take us backwards here, but I will be taking Paul. I will be taking Paul Mullins to score.
Listen. If you haven't watched Sheffield
Ooh,
United,
that's a good one, Danny.
If you have not watched Sheffield United, find a TV to watch this game on. Wrexham Sheffield United. Ollie McBurney is fantastic. I love him. He's my spirit animal. So
And
he's
honestly,
just-
any coverage or anytime you watch Wrexham, you're helping out a community. Anytime you watch any soccer, you're helping out a community. But this is more
If
important.
you watch the show, you kind of realize it. Like, I mean, if you haven't watched that show, it's kind of cool to see the way that like a soccer team can really affect an entire city.
But
It's not
also-
like sports in America where they're all like giant cities and everybody roots for a team from somewhere else.
I actually
This is like
haven't
a real
watched it yet.
community based.
It's on my to-do list, but I haven't gotten around to watching a second of it yet.
Dude, the city's like it's a real community based team. It's really cool to see the way they all rally around it. It kind of makes me jealous. It's more of a college feel. It's more of a college feel, but like
Something
even in
America will never have.
well, we do kind of have it in some college towns, but even the college towns we have here are different. It's more like when we're rooting for like the small colleges.
Yeah. Your Appalachian states and what have you.
Yeah, East Carolinas.
Your East
Oh.
Carolina, any of those quarterbacks I'm mentioning on our other podcast,
Coastal Carolina.
any of your Jake Hainers.
Your Fresno states.
But Sheffield is in a similar situation, right? It's not like I don't think there's any other major teams that are in the Sheffield side. I know Sheffield Wednesday is another club in that area that's in the championship, but it's not like they have big clubs. They're also community clubs. That's a great thing about England. English and UK soccer in general, because it's so hyper localized.
Love it. Yeah.
Chelsea and Fulham are like 1 mile away, but it feels like there could be a Berlin Wall between the two. Those stadiums are legitimately 1.5 mile away from each other.
I'm gonna watch so much soccer. I'm gonna watch so much soccer.
The fact that it's always a split between like working class people and like posh white collar people, and it's like, oh, I fucking love it so much.
I feel like as a
Give me the
Chelsea fan, I'm
platform,
stuck on the
I'll do
posh white collar people, but I'd rather be the working class, even though I'm
but
I'm
I would
actually.
always rather be the working class, right?
Then
No,
you
I
have
would
to-
rather be the working class. Like I mow my own lawn, but then I'm like I'm a fucking accountant, so I'm probably more the white collar. So
You need to be
makes
a
more
Crystal
sense.
Palace fan if you want to be working class London, I think.
Perfect.
But
I
I'm
actually
not.
really
The
like
thing
that
is,
guy.
I want to be. What's the team you root for if you want to be, but you're not? Like I'm a fucking working class
Chelsea.
poser.
Chelsea.
Chelsea. There you go.
Chelsea's perfect composers.
I'm a working class poser.
Oh.
Like I said, I mow my own lawn, but I'm a fucking accountant. Like I don't clean my own house. I mow my own lawn, but I don't clean my own house.
Brighton is hosting Liverpool and in this FA Cup, so
Tie.
I'm taking the draw on that one.
Dude, I'm with you on that. Tie all the way. That's a great bet. It's like plus 250, plus 220, somewhere around there. That's a 2-1 that I'm gonna love winning.
Liverpool's been in bad form too, and Brighton's not anyone to be trifled with at all.
They can't figure out how to get Darwin Nunez to fit in there. They spent so much money on him, and they can't figure out a way to fit him into their strike. So,
Well, dude, do you think Sadio Mane means that much? And I love Sadio Mane.
yes,
I'm guessing he means
yes,
that.
I do. Have you seen Bayern this year?
Yeah, no, he's
I
great.
mean, they lost today, but they're so good.
Yeah, Bayern is good. Another one I was thinking of taking is
Mane and Sané on the same team. Mane and Sané on the same attack is just it's so good. And Gnabry, oh god, just having them all on the same team. And what's the guy's name that's in the middle with the blonde hair? I forget. Sorry, Bayern's team is just so fun to watch. I watched the game today while I was at work because I quit my job and I have nothing to do.
The midfielder. Hey,
he's got three names. He's got three names.
So everyone, this is a future thing that people aren't. Brighton has been undervalued in this one goal scorer who keeps scoring. He's a new player. Kaura Matoma has scored like in 4 straight games, and if you haven't caught on yet, he keeps scoring. He can strike from outside the box. He gets inside the box. Everyone just keep an eyeball on Matoma, Japanese guy who plays for.
Oh, dude. Okay. He's been awesome. He was
really
good.
freaking good the last
good in the World Cup, good in the qualifiers. That dude has shown up, and they bought him. They bought him. Was it last transfer window or the one before?
I'm gonna find out exactly when. I know that they got rid of Trossard, right, and they replaced him with Matoma, and they replaced him before they got rid of Trossard. Mm-hmm. He has been there since 2021. He was on loan to Union SG, but now he's back, and he's been good. So keep an eyeball on him because people aren't talking about him for some reason, and there's a lot of betting value on Matoma.
I was talking to a Japanese guy in my office during the World Cup about like how a lot of their players just aren't like their recent performance is going to get a lot of these guys like seen, and they're going to be in the Premier League, they're the top league scenes. Like these guys are already there. Yeah. And I was like, where are they? I don't see them in the Premier League. And he started naming off guys, and I looked at him and I was, damn, you're right. They're there. Yeah. I just started noticing. I'm just not noticing.
The striker at Frankfurt, since Champions League and Frankfurt being a new team that was really competitive in Bundesliga last year. The dude's good. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but
so when Japan whooped our ass before in our last friendly before the World Cup, I was like, man, I thought Japan sucked at soccer, and then should have looked at the guys up then, and then I wouldn't have looked like such an idiot in front of my coworker. Yeah, sorry, Masami.
Makoto.
Makoto. Yeah, he's a midfielder. I'm sorry, I said striker. Anything else as far as the FA Cup?
The only other bet I was looking at that we haven't mentioned was the under in Derby County, West Ham. West Ham hasn't scored for shit for like 2 months. They cannot put the ball in the net. But I think they can do a good job keeping Derby County off the board. So under 2.5 in that one, I feel is a decent one too. That's also the last game of this round, which I think is Monday.
Antonio to score in that one.
If Antonio to score isn't at least plus 500, then don't take it. I think he's got like 1 goal all year. He cannot find the net right now.
He's been assisting though, but you're right. He has not been able to find the net at all. But he has been assisting at the other goals. He's almost been like a second striker or like a false 9 right now. I don't know what they're doing with him.
West Ham United to win, and what is both teams to score? And no, both teams to score is plus 175.
I like that bet.
I'd take a look at that. Bowen has been the one scoring goals when goals happen for West Ham, and then it has
on the wing. Dude, they have so many good players. I don't know why they're so bad.
But not Declan.
They got Bowen, they got Rice, they got Zuma. They got a lot of good players.
I don't see any time goal scorers listed for that match.
It's not out yet. Nothing's out yet. I'm surprised you even found lines, but
hell yeah. All right, I think that's it. What do you got? Anyone else got anything else they want to add?
I'm going to bet Blackpool to beat Southampton. I'm probably going to take the money line on that. I'm going to bet a tie in the Bristol City West Brom game. I'm going to bet Leicester to beat West Hall and Leeds to beat Accrington. I'm going to bet what did we say about Fulham something? I'm probably going to bet somebody on Fulham to score.
Mitrovic. I would wait for the lineup there.
Yeah, well, Mitrovic plays every game, man. He never sits. He's such a fucking beast. And I'm gonna wait for the lineup in the Man United game. But if Rashford's playing, he's gonna fucking score.
If Rashford's playing, why? Why would he be? I hope he is.
He's gonna play 20 minutes and get 3 goals, and then they'll take him out.
That's like a Holland line.
Love the Brighton Liverpool tie. Love the Sheffield over Wrexham because too many fucking people love this show. Wrexham's not that good. Also, Paul Mullins to score though. Paul Mullins to score. I don't know if other people are going to be betting it, but I want it.
Hey, one thing that happened since last week that we didn't talk about, Frank Lampard got the sack.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got anything you want to add to it? We got 5 minutes. And we're wrapping
He's a fucking Chelsea legend. That kind of sucks to see him losing his job, but like we fired him not that long ago, so like we knew he sucked.
Yeah, I don't think. Look, Everton is a legendary style club. They may not have the trophy case that proves it, but there's no reason they should be fighting in the relegation levels. And they're
neither should West Ham, man.
They should be better than this. And I think there's a new manager bump, and I think they're all in on trying to take that new manager bump to get them out of relegation. And I hope so, man, because look, Liverpool, the city of Liverpool should not only have one high-level football team in it. You need Everton there to balance Liverpool FC. I think it's important for the city. I think it's important for like the geography, right? That's a giant area. To only have one club representing that city seems like a shame.
For British soccer, you need to have 2 clubs there, at least for rivalry purposes, at least 2 in the Premier League.
You need a derby.
I don't know.
You need a derby.
Personally, I think you need big teams to get relegated. It makes it fun. I
honestly don't hate it. It also makes the champions. It makes betting champions soccer more fun the next year because you know some players in it.
But I do think Frank Lampard is probably not a particularly good manager. I heard some conversation. We can go into this a little bit. The United States men's national team were like, "Hey, would you take a shot at Frank Lampard?"
I hope not. But I'd rather keep Berhalter. But there's even a lot with everything that happened. I'd rather keep him.
About Jose Mourinho coming over. Right?
There's no way we get Mourinho. No, he ain't coming to America.
He's at Roma
right
now.
Let us live.
He's at Roma right now. There's been a lot of contentious conversations about him, right? Because he can be problematic. He's been a problem.
We're not getting Mourinho. I can tell you right now, we're not getting him. Just you're dreaming.
What if his name was Dan?
Dan Mourinho.
I think we can get Danny on board then.
I don't know if anyone has any more thoughts on who will be the U.S. men's national team coach, because I know Berhalter's still in contention, right? They can re-sign him. I do personally. I think I've gone on record here several times. I don't think he is the right manager for the position. I think he's really bad at managing the people. He may be okay at the strategy side, but and I also think he got a bum hand with the Reina situation, but also he made a lot of missteps along the way.
Yeah, boy, nobody came out of that looking good, huh?
Seriously, what a shit situation. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on like the manager situation. Like I'm all in for Mourinho, but
yeah, it'd be great. I mean, I don't think, like Danny said, I don't think we're going to end up being able to land someone of that caliber. But it doesn't hurt to wish for it, and fingers crossed something gets figured out. But we'll probably end up with some MLS scrub whose fucking dad is on the U.S. soccer board or some shit, and be stuck with that.
Chris,
I don't think so.
I think you have to go big fish hunting or like game hunting for this, This is your chance to make a legend. Right?
Bruce Arena.
Ugh. I do like Joachim Low, right? He's won a World Cup. He's still available. He overstayed his welcome where he was previously, but I do think that may be an interesting name. I wanted Roberto Martinez, but now he's the manager of Portugal. And in all fairness, if I had to choose between the United States and Portugal, and I'm not from either country, I'm probably going to choose Portugal. It's like an easier, it's an easier place to win. But
Is Tuchel still an option?
Oh God, I would love to have Tommy Tuchel.
Jesse Marsh.
Do you think Jesse Marsh is the right move? I think it's going to end up at his door, and he's going to have to say yes or no. I think
I would like it. Why not?
Can we just hire Gio Reyna's mom?
I don't think Leeds has shown particularly well.
No.
A lot of the management, and they're fighting a relegation battle, and they were doing that last year. To be fair,
you think that's his fault?
I think we talked about this on this podcast previously. That system they were running at the beginning of the year is going to kill the players, and they're going to be so gassed pressing that aggressively all the time. And I think it's come to roost.
I mean, I think if you were managing the USMNT in the Premier League, I'm pretty sure you'd be relegated anyway. So.
That's true.
I think we kind of failed to consider the rule change recently, where the COVID rule change, where you get 5 subs now instead of 3, or 6 subs now instead of 3, or whatever you get. And I think that
in particular to Leeds.
Yeah, I think that helps Leeds, or at least his style. But his players are still,
Yeah, if you manage the sub well, I guess
they're still the Leeds players, and he subs on early.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, granted, he's got Tyler Adams, and he's still playing Brandon Aronson, right? Like, he's got familiarity with these American players. I just don't know if he's the. I just want someone with some pedigree, right? Because this is our
Leeds' best player.
Tyler Adams. I have no idea.
Is it Rodrigo?
Probably Rodrigo. Yeah, it is Rodrigo. I'm sorry. I'm just being very American here.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. And he's pretty good, but like, if that's your best player, are you going to compete in the Premier League? I mean,
I don't know, man. Let's think about this realistically. What job? I would probably prefer being the Premier League coach. And only for this reason, right? Like, you're actually kind of like harvesting a relationship and trying to.
They're going to get relegated
to a unified vision. I don't want to coach a team that gets relegated, right? But being the 15th best team in the Premier League,
they're not going to get relegated though. Also, like, they're not out of it, but they're like also.
No, I think you're missing the point. Like, Everton and West Ham aren't getting relegated.
They're 1 point out of relegation, right?
Everton and West Ham aren't getting relegated. Leeds definitely is.
Nottingham Forest should be. That team, I know they're playing better recently. That team is not good. You can cut it up. Anyway.
Nottingham spent a bunch of money when they got up, but that was just so they could sell those fucking players.
Yeah, like, they're not good. Wolves is not very good at all.
Wolves are getting relegated. They shouldn't. Dude, I love Traore. He's one of my favorite players to watch, but like, he's not getting goals and he's not getting assists. Like, and he's only playing the second half. What are they doing?
Leeds controls their destiny in their next 3 weeks. They go to Nottingham Forest, and then they play Man U twice. Then they go to Everton, and then they host Southampton. And those are 3 clubs that are in the relegation battle with them. So they could.
Are they playing Man U twice in the Premier League? Oh, wow, that is.
That's what it looks like. Looks like they're home and away, back to back.
Oh, that's awful.
Leeds has 18 points. Right now, 17 is relegation.
Wow.
There's 3 teams with 18.
They have more goals.
Nottingham has 20. Nottingham has had 2 wins recently. Good for Nottingham. They're kind of out of that battle
teams below them. Like, it's not necessarily a points thing as much as it is how many teams are below you too.
It's literally a points thing.
Yep. Yeah, I guess if 5 teams all win more games than Leeds do, then they get relegated. But if only 1 or 2 do, they still stay up.
West Ham and Everton are not getting relegated. I'm telling you that right now. They're not.
You're saying that. that doesn't make it so.
What would you like to bet that West Ham
Leeds
and...
is not getting relegated. I'm telling you that.
Okay,
See,
what
it
would you like
doesn't
to
make
bet?
it any more
Okay, what would you
true,
like
right?
to bet? I'll take two teams. You take one team. What would you like to bet against those two?
All right,
teams?
guys. Arsenal is not getting relegated. Can I play this game? Arsenal's not getting relegated this year.
But if they do, Matt, you got to chug 700 beers.
I'll give you even odds, Al. You pick the stakes. You're higher up than both my teams. I'll give you even odds. What are the stakes?
How many beers you want to chug?
No.
I'll chug
Dollars.
2 beers because you're on 2 teams.
You're so confident in Leeds. You're above both my teams in the standings right now. You're 15. I'm 16 and 19. I'm saying both my teams need to not get relegated, and yours will. What do you want? I'm giving you even money when this would be long money odds for anybody else. How much money do you want to lay on this?
All
right, how many beers? Because you have no confidence in Leeds and all confidence in Everton and West Ham.
Well, you make it sound like it's a certainty. I'm not going to bet against a certainty. 4 beers? 5 beers?
Dude, I will whatever amount of beers you say, I will chug them. I will chug them literally in a row on the podcast when it happens.
Perfect.
And you'll have to do the same.
Yes.
It's likely going to be the 3 teams, some 3 teams between Leicester City in 14th and Southampton in 20. Southampton has not been very good. They're bad on offense and bad on defense, so we can basically salt that away. Bournemouth is in a similar situation. I know the
teams. I'll take this bet right now. The teams getting relegated are Southampton, Bournemouth, and Leeds. The only other team that has a possibility is Nottingham, but their recent wins make it unlikely.
Yeah, 16 goals for and 35 against. Doesn't seem like I understand that. Look, and me saying this while Chelsea's only 1 goal differential up is not a great stance for me to take, but I don't love their goal differential at all.
Wow. You know who's also got a really shitty goal differential?
Wolves?
Everton.
Oh, Everton does have a crappy goal differential. It's so important for me.
But they have good players. They have DCL. They got they still have Gordon, right?
Yeah, they have Gordon. They have Iwobi is good. They have a lot of talent. Damari Gray is good. They're going to be they'll climb out of this. I think
there's so much quality on that team. They've just had such a bad coach for so long.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see.
Danny.
Neil Maupay. They have Maupay.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, what were the 3 teams?
I don't know. I'll never make the bet. I'll never made the bet, so it doesn't matter.
So Bournemouth, Leeds, and who?
Southampton.
Southampton. All right. This is getting real. This is getting
spicy.
Should
parlay that.
They don't have it available. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What else we got, boys? That it?
I got nothing.
You guys want to talk some Russian ping pong?
Savannah bananas.
Ooh, I'm always down for some banana talk. You know what I'm saying?
You want to talk about the darts? Oh, the darts is over.
Yeah.
The darts. Oh, it was so good. All right. Do you guys want to talk basketball? Because the Heat won today, and I hit an under.
I do. All right. I'm going to leave. I love you guys.
Yeah. Danny, chug a beer.
You guys still have jobs.
I know.
I don't.
All right. We're ending this thing. Thanks if you made it this far.
You did. You hate your life.
You a real one if you did though. Follow us on TikTok. Watch
Just good night, Joey.
Rate, review, subscribe. Good night, Joey. Really love you.
Good night, Joey.
Good night, Joey.
Good night, Lexi.
Boom.
So